Stanfa realizes he has to make the next move on his own. On August 5th, 1993, a Stanfa gunman spots Merlino walking with Joey Chang's brother, Michael. Michael Changlini dies at the scene. Merlino escapes with a flesh wound. The Philly mob braces itself for war.
It was a bad time, you know. I didn't even sleep in my bed. I was sleeping on the floor. I put a couple pillows in there because you never know when a bomb was going to come through the window. It was just a bad time.
3 weeks go by. It's 8 a.m., August 31st, 1993. Rush hour. Stanfa and his son Joe are taking the expressway into downtown Philadelphia. Behind the wheel is Fred Aldrich, another of Stanfa's bodyguards.
We knew there was going to be retaliation, just how and when. So you're always looking in your rearview mirror and your two side mirrors, all the time. And I picked up this van, and I just didn't like the looks of it. And it caught my eye. And all of a sudden, I seen the guns start flashing. And I said, John, we're being hit, and I pushed him down. And I turned around on Joey, and boom, he got it through the side window, and he went down.
Joey Stanfa has taken a bullet in the cheek. Aldrich takes evasive action.
My play was stop and go with him, you know. I stopped and go enough to get behind him and right on their bumper.
The stop-start tactic works. Thwarted, the gunmen drive off. John Stanfa is unscathed. His son recovers, but Aldrich is appalled by the hit.
What they pulled on this Schuylkill Expressway was just the stupidest move I've ever seen in my life. I said, this is going to bring every authority, every badge in the world. You know, they could have killed 50 people. I said, you know, John, it's the beginning of the end.
Aldrich is proved right. The war attracts too much heat. The Philadelphia Mafia has lost sight of the traditional commandment: respect those appointed above you. For the Philly mob, the writing is on the wall.
It was about greed. It was about the almighty dollar. As long as you were bringing a bag full of money, you could have broke any rule that you wanted.
Orissa Tourism. Scenic, serene, sublime.
トヨタプレゼンツ特集宇宙への挑戦者たちプレゼントキャンペーン。ディスカバリーチャンネルでは特集宇宙への挑戦者たちの中でプレゼントキャンペーンを実施します。キャンペーンに参加するには携帯とスマートフォンのディスカバリーチャンネルサイトから登録して応募するだけ。抽選でディスカバリーオリジナルのドライブグッズをプレゼント。詳しくはモバイルサイトまたは PC のホームページまで。
なのおいだば生まれてからずっと青森です。10部で嫁先でからリンゴばかり作ってる。最近だばブラジルからも注文入ってきて忙す。Mas maçã? Ô Alex, como vai? Temos maçãs deliciosas. Entendo sim, não se preocupe.
外国語を母国語にするロゼッタストーンは
Rosetta Stone.
はすごいぞっていうのはどっかで出したかったんですよ。
本当にみんなの気持ちに応えられるようなそういう街を作りたいなという。
こういう人たちがいてこういうことをやったっていう事実ですよね。
The mafia is all about making money by any means necessary. Yet the mafia's own laws decree that you cannot lie for personal gain.
Non ci si può appropriare di soldi. Money cannot be appropriated if it belongs to others or to other families.
It's a strange commandment for a criminal organization. Thou shalt not steal.
You lie, steal, cheat, do whatever it takes to make money, bring it into the family, but don't do it among us.
Of course, the commandment only relates to mobsters stealing from each other. According to the FBI, the mafia earns a staggering $100 billion a year, more than Boeing, Coca-Cola, or even Microsoft. The mob makes its money in 1,000 different ways.
Got a little shylocking business, a little bookmaking business.
The junket operation, the unions, the food industry.
We take the tail car first, and then we take the truck. You know, those 40-foot trailers are worth a couple $1 million a piece. If something was stolen, had to be sold, I did it. Gambling was the backbone of it. People loved to bet. People loved to gamble. We had a lot of people on the inside.
Used to walk in the kitchen with a pistol, go through the kitchen, go into where the registers were, rob everybody, and leave. I did it many times.
In the mafia, money flows from the bottom up. It's called kicking up. Associates pay a slice of their earnings to soldiers, who in turn pay a percentage to their capos, and so on, up the chain.
If I'm your capo and you're kicking up to me, and I can kick something up to the boss, everybody's happy.
At the top of the money chain is the boss.
Yeah, you always got to take care of the boss. I mean, he always got an end.
Henry Hill is a former associate of the New York Lucchese crime family. His capo always took an equal slice of the take.
If it was 4 guys involved in a hijacking, you know, he always got a full end, so it was 5 guys. You know, if we wound up with 100,000, we'd all get 20,000 apiece. But he always got his, you know, full end.
To earn his cut, the boss only has to nod. His blessing is a kind of insurance policy against rival mobsters.
Do what you got to do. Clear it with us, but, you know, anything that's out there, go do it. That's kind of the way it's organized.
Like a medieval prince, the boss only communicates with underlings through intermediaries. During the 90s, enforcer Fred Aldrich plays the role of courtier to Philadelphia mob boss John Stanfa.
Everybody would check in, and they would all come up to me because, of course, I had John's ear. And I said, well, Tony came up with this idea. And he just smiled and said, okay. I said, Louis came up with a pretty good idea, you know. He said, okay, give him the go-ahead on that.
Once a scam has been approved, the earner must start kicking up an equal share to the boss.
The thought process is you come into that life and all of a sudden everybody starts throwing money at you, you become wealthy. And it's just the opposite. You come into that life, you start paying up all the time. You know, you got to earn your own way and support the family if you can.
Bosses expect a verbal account for every penny. It's called going on record.
Allegedly, that's for security reasons. So if another member of another family tries to make a move on your business, it's on record and they can't do that. So that's one reason, but technically, this way they know everything you're doing, and you got to pay up.
Failure to pay is considered theft. Former Bonanno soldier, Tony, is now in witness protection. He is one of the few men to have cheated his boss and lived.
Christmas came first, in my house. Then I would kick up my money to where it was supposed to kick up.
In 1999, Tony begins extorting porn shops in Lower Manhattan. Porn makes for soft targets.
I'm not going to walk into, a store with an old lady and an old man, making pottery. I'm going to go into a business that I know functions in the gray area of the law. Those are the type of businesses that you can go in and you can extort them every week.
Tony's technique is simple and brutal.
I go in, I introduce myself, I start becoming friends with the guy. And I tell him, listen, if anybody ever tries to come in here, I know how this business is. If anybody ever tries to come in here and butcher you or tries to shake you down for money, call me. I'll be more than, I'll help you out. And then a week later, I send the kid in there with a baseball bat.
Tony is soon making good money, but he decides to carve his capo out of the loop.
I would make my weekly collections, and my captain took it upon himself, because he thought he was getting robbed every week, to go and visit these bookstores and talk to the people directly. He found out I was robbing them. He found out I was taking everything.
Tony is marked for death. In the mafia, it's a tradition that the man who kills you will be known to you.
Half of these guys I know since, they were at my baptism. But once you know that you're going to get clipped, they don't recall it. They don't take it back. It's not, they don't send out emails and say, okay, you know what, we changed our mind. We had donuts and coffee with this guy. He's all right, and we're going to let him live,
Months go by. Nothing. For Tony, it's business as usual.
And then one night they finally caught up to me. I was in a bar. Walked out onto the street, lit a cigarette, and the car pulled up. They shot at me probably 15, 18 times, I don't know, a lot of times.
Tony makes a run for his apartment.
I didn't know if they were going to come there afterwards or, I just sat there in my kitchen on the floor. I had a couple of guns there. I sat there and I just waited. It sounds crazy, but what was going through my mind is that Santa Claus is coming to kill me, because I remember the captain playing Santa Claus when I was a kid. I'll never forget that thought.
Tony evades the hitmen that night, but his brush with death makes him question his loyalties. Soon after, he is cooperating with the FBI. Not everyone is so lucky. In Philadelphia, in 1981, Frankie Flowers Delfonso, a major bookmaker and mob associate, is refusing to kick up money to new mob boss, Little Nicky Scarfo.
But with Nicky, he wanted Frankie Flowers to know that there's a new sheriff in town and that you need to pay.
At the time, Eugene Milano is a Philly mafia soldier.
Frankie said that I'm not doing any business, and if I was, I would kick in. Well, Philadelphia may be a big city, but within our life, everyone knows what everyone's doing.